Thank you so much. So talking about coaching mindset, what does it mean? What does it mean to have a coaching mindset? I think that we are almost here, all 35. So any definitions coming from your side? Of course that I have one, right? And I'm gonna be showing you a few slides. But before I jump into what I feel, what I believe, what I sense, what is it for you? What is it for you to have a coaching mindset? And if you want to write something on the chat, that'll be amazing. And if you want to raise your hand and contribute, that'll be amazing as well. So I think, Katarina, you want to share something? I saw your hand. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, for me, it's, of course, really being open to learn and to have really not judgmental and see others like equals and really curious about you can learn from everybody and has just the best intention that something good is going to happen in this connection that you are having on this moment.
Amazing. Fantastic. Rosario, you want to share?
Yes, for me, thank you. For me, it's like just to accept what is there in front of you with no judging. Just acceptance of what we have in front of us.
Acceptance, no judgment. Alexandra is saying being fully present for the client, complete focus on the client without judgment, being super curious. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Sueli, you want to share?
Yes, being ready to listen with not only with your mind, but with your heart, watching the client, and also open to feel the sudden changes, either in breathing or emotional and the physical aspects, and silence. Allow the client to process.
Beautiful, beautiful. Imagine if we all in life, in general, not just as coaches, but in life in general, we could have a coaching mindset. As a teacher, as a leader, as I go to do I go to the supermarket and I talk to people. So the coaching mindset to me, and I will explain why, it's probably the most profound state of holding space and actually letting everybody advance in their flourishing. A coaching mindset allows everybody to feel heard and to actually feel seen. And this is probably what we all want in life, to be seen, to be appreciated. So if we are able to hold space for people and make them feel seen from the first second and appreciated, that's already a public good, I would say. That's a public good. It's like happiness. We believe at the World Happiness Foundation that happiness is a public good. So actually we are able to help people being seen when appreciation from all the statistics and all the research that we do is one of the main reasons for people to feel good, appreciation, to be seen, to be heard, to realize that I mean something for somebody. That makes a huge difference, huge difference. So I would love to share with you a few slides, and I would love to show the slide just to support our conversation. So as it was mentioned before, I'm a PCC coach. I'm a specialized on mental health. What that means is that I bring PNL, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and hypnotherapy to many sessions. So I can start with coaching and then I can follow with therapy in many ways. Or I can start with therapy and then I follow up with coaching. I love the ICF practice. So I'm actually the director of the World Happiness Academy as well. So we follow the PCC markers as well, and we 35 for ICF that coaches are following the core competencies. So I think that what ICF has been able to create is something that works. So it's not just being compliant; it's actually it works. But personally, I like to combine as well with other practices when I go deeper into healing, because that's part of what I do with clinical psychologists as well, and with psychiatric. So I work with medical doctors, I work with clinical psychologists, I especially like the mental health space, and then I do executive coaching, leadership coaching, and I work with families, I work with teams, I work with individuals. So what I want to bring today is, of course, based on ICF, what a coaching mindset means, but at the same time, I want to bring my own model. And this model is called Rouser. So basically today, what we are going to be doing is to define an ICF aligned coaching mindset. What is it? Why does it work? We are going to explain why it is essential for leadership today. We are going to go through my own model. The Rouser model is a model based on 6 elements. And I'm going to explain how do they work and how are they built on the ICF aligned coaching mindset. And then I want to show you another pretty cool tool that I use, that I created, that is called the MetaPets method. And with this tool, we can integrate our shadows, which is the low vibration. And we are going to explain how shadow work is so critical and how we can help in this coaching mindset exercise. Then I'm going to give you some recommendations about how to adopt daily practices to cultivate your coaching mindset. So basically, this is going to be the flow. We're going to go into a poll now. ICF mindset, why it matters, the Rouser model, shadow gift essence model with MetaPets, and then some practices and Q&A. So this is the agenda for today. And building on the questions that I asked before, let's keep going into what is a coaching mindset, how you define it. We already hear from some of you. We hear about non-judgment. We hear about curiosity. We hear about flexibility. But basically the question is, in one sentence, why did you choose it? So if you were to choose one quality out of the ones we have here, which one would you choose and why? Openness, curiosity, flexibility, empathy, or maybe a new one that you want to use. So you can type on the chat one quality you see as most essential. And then in one sentence, why did you choose it? All right, curiosity, yes, and Rosario. What else? Compassionate curiosity, because this one integrates hope with appreciation. Elrich, I will choose curiosity because it helps to fuel questions and listening at a deeper level with clients. Empathy builds trust to enable the other qualities to flourish. Openness, connect deeper with humanity. Curiosity, thank you for that, Ibrahim. If you are curious, you will automatically be empathetic and open. Kristen, empathy, because it is a vehicle to truly connect to the client. Sophia, empathy. Susan, openness, because it encompasses curiosity, non-judgment. Nice. Katia, curiosity without judgment. I choose because it allows me to be present and listening. Meredith, I pick curiosity because it allows me to enter the coaching session with presence and ask the client powerful questions. Nice. Rosario, curiosity because it helps the coachee to be seen. Nice. Katarina, compassion because it brings presence, being human and understand how important is treat ourselves as friends. Nice. Dr. Lacey Tosi, empathy, because it keeps me in an active listening mode so I can connect at a deeper level and properly serve my client. Nice. Sully, empathy and curiosity, and it is not about the coach, it is always about the client with no bias. Nice. Claudia, I would say empathy and self-compassion are the beginning. Nice. And Heather, curiosity, it aligns with listening and presence. Okay, I mean, I guess that all these answers are amazing, right? I don't know if by reading somebody else's answers, you are changing your mind or you are complementing what you think. But this is the beauty of doing some sharing among professionals. So I feel that this is very, very much aligned. I mean, I actually choose only one, but we know that there are many. And this is what we are going to be seeing now and explain a bit more. So this is fantastic. I don't know if anybody wants to share live by unmuting yourself on your answer, or you are fine just with the chat. Otherwise, I'll keep moving on. But thank you so much for sharing. And basically, this is what we learn from an ICF perspective and very much from my own perspective, complementing ICF. Kind of baseline is a way of being. So how are we in front of our clients? We are open, we are curious, flexible, and client-centered. So that's the beginning. As you can see, is more than one, is a multi-factor element. We are open, curious, flexible, and client-centered. That's the beginning. That's truly the beginning. And what I love about this is that this is a way of being. So it's not about working with a coaching mindset. It's about being with a coaching mindset. So when I'm open, curious, flexible, and client-centered, that's the beginning of trust. So that's the second element. We trust that clients are resourceful and responsible for their choices. So this is so powerful. Probably this is, when we look at NLP, this is one of the key elements. And when we look at coaching mindset, definitely this trust is the beginning of healing. This is the beginning of shifting. This is the beginning of change. we trust that our clients are completely resourceful and responsible for their choices. So interesting because I am coaching many top executives and family members. And normally when you get to that top level, you become very humble in many ways. So when we normally start the sessions, I told them, it's like, I trust that you are completely resourceful and responsible. But especially when I say resourceful, they say, well, but you know I'm open to learn. I'm always open to learn. So regardless of me having all the resources, I'm open to learn. And I think this is the first challenge that we all have as coaches. Because when somebody tells you I'm open to learn, we might get into the trap of telling them what to do. And actually, it's so interesting because I'm coaching this Mexican, is a Mexican owner, is a family owner, is a family business. And I do family coaching. So it's the whole family, 2 daughters, wife, and husband. And they all have 33% the company. So he's the husband, he's the father of the family. And the first time we all met, I told them, well, I trust that most of the answers, if not all, are going to be coming from all of you. And immediately he jumped on and said, no, I'm here open to learn. So then it was me explaining that actually by listening to each other, because when I do group coaching, they listen to each other, we all were going to be much more equipped to get our own powerful answers. And that my job was holding space and asking power questions. So I didn't want to insist in that all the answers were going to come through them and from them, because at some point he really wanted to have a new perspective. But this is how, as coaches, we have to make sure that we are not stepping into consulting, that we are not stepping into advising, that we are not stepping into giving them answers that we might think might work for them. And we are going to be patient in order to keep asking questions, in order to get them getting into their own answers. So I think for me, that's critical in a coaching mindset, is regardless of having a client so humble and willing to learn, we trust the answers are going to come from them. So this is really powerful, and I feel this is core competency for all of us. How do we believe and how do we hold space for them to come out with their own answers? And actually, that's how we move into stay curious versus judgmental. We listen deeply before we respond. And when we respond, we are not going to be bringing solutions. We are going to be bringing more questions. By being flexible and adapting to the client's context and culture. So I'm very fortunate because I coach all over the world. So right now I have, for example, clients from India, and I have clients from Dominican Republic, and I have clients from Spain, from the United States, from Mexico. It's pretty different to be flexible and to adapt, especially when we have to be in silence. And we know that in silence, we get most of the answers. We get most of the answers. So, for example, Indian cultures, they don't like silence a lot. So when I coach in India, I have to make sure that I prompt then to answer instead of waiting a lot. Because otherwise they are expecting me to say something. So this is very important from a coaching mindset, that we don't forget that we expect the answers coming from the client. And at some point, people want answers. So they are pushing us to get the answers. And that's not how coaching works. So the more I teach our coaches as the Go Happiness Academy about this, the more they can move from a mentoring and advisory mindset. We get a lot of advisors and consultants and leaders that want to become coaches into this coaching mindset. Because the moment we trust the process, we really make a difference. So keep that in mind, that by adopting a coaching mindset as a way of being, trusting that the clients are resourceful and responsible for their choices, we stay curious, non-judgmental. We listen deeply before we respond. We are flexible and adapt to the context and culture of the client. And then that allows us to anchor the process in the client's agenda, not the coach's agenda. It's the client's agenda. That's why setting the goal from the beginning is so important. Because if there is no goal, it's going to be very easy for us to get into the trap of bringing our own answers to the agenda that we create ourselves. So keep that in mind. This is critical. And I want to stop here and see if there are any questions so far about this process and the outline of what a coaching mindset is.
I have a question, Luis,
Yes,
sorry I interrupted.
please.
I was wondering, as I heard you and I follow you moving in different cultures, countries, and my question is, what is the most challenging, like coaching in different cultures? Like you said, some people value silence, other people get really anxious with that. But you, with that coaching mindset, what has been in your process the most challenging aspect?
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for that question, Katia, because I mean, I'm so lucky that I'm coaching worldwide. And I'm coaching people in China and people in India and in Costa Rica. And I tell you, it's so different. And sometimes holding to ICF standard is very difficult. Because in China, for example, I was there 2 weeks ago. And I'm coaching really powerful entrepreneurs. Well, at some point, they don't want to talk. They stop talking. So it's like they really want to hear you. So they really want to hear what you think. Because that's the way they build trust. So if you are an hour asking questions and you don't say anything, for them, it's like, okay, where are you? What are you doing? Why are you here? So you are not telling me anything? So that's tough. Because at some point you have to say something. And at some point you have to give examples. Or you have to give a lot of context. So giving context for what these people are going on is very important. I remember this other client in Dominican Republic. At some point, they are non-stop. They keep talking and talking and talking and talking, even interrupting them, they keep talking. So there is not even an opportunity to ask because they keep talking. So at some point, what we are doing as coaches is, okay, what are what they are saying is actually helpful for themselves into this coaching session, because they want to get to answers, and by talking and listening to themselves, they might get there. And I'm just listening and holding space. That's why being curious and not judgmental is so important. And then if we trust the client has the answers, then it's easier to work with a client that doesn't stop talking, that actually working with a client that doesn't say anything. So, I mean, it's not just about countries. It's not about big groups of people. It's about specific people, specific, very shy people, people with a lot of trauma, people, social anxiety, for example. I work with a lot of students. I mean, they don't even, if there's somebody in the room, they don't open their mouth. They feel judged all the time. So building trust with them is the first element. It's like, why are they going to share anything with us? That because they are going through social anxiety. So I think that there are so many possible cases from a cultural point of view that I rather focusing on specific examples than being too generalistic. But what I can tell you from my multinational practice is that, because now I have, for example, I have many families in India. Now I get the way they like to talk. And at some point they want to be with other people around. At some point they want to think in between sessions. So actually they love that you ask for something to do in between sessions. If it's women, we know that at so many levels, there is a lot of shame going on. So there is a big wound of shame and guilt. So if that's the case, we are gonna be listening with a lot of kindness and so much compassion. So the compassionate inquirer here is gonna be extra developed, because shame and guilt is all over. I work with this woman in India. She's the third daughter in the family. And in this state, Rajasthan, when you are born the third daughter, you are cursed. So it means that you are bringing bad luck to your family. And I mean, we have to be aware that that's the case. Otherwise, we are missing 80% of the picture, of the information. Because whatever she's sharing with us is biased and conditioned by her own culture. So I think that being extra sensitive is something you learn when you work with different cultures. And that's when coaching mindset means even more. Because then it's about openness, curiosity, flexibility, non-judgment. But then we have to be flexible in order to adapt to the client. So it's a long answer. But if you have specific cases, I'll be happy, because right now I'm working with so many people from all over the world. Arab women, for example. That's another world as well. So well, anywhere, especially people who are traumatized or went through trauma, big trauma, that's especially interesting and helpful for us. Because we can be very helpful to them. So these are the best cases that we can have, cases where we can actually show that coaching really makes a difference. Anybody else? Susan is saying openness to learning about how cultural norms impact coaching. Yes. And Dr. Larry Seal, I'm so glad you highlighted that culture can play a role. Of course. Yes. Yes. All right. So with that in mind, how do we embody a coaching mindset? What are the behaviors that we can showcase in order to embody? Embodiment is probably one of my favorite words after coaching mindset. That's why at the World Happiness Foundation, we don't say be happy. We say be happiness. So that's a very subtle difference, but very powerful when we embody what we are talking. You want to see peace in the world, be peace. You want to see happiness in the world, be happiness. You want to see people changing, change with them. That's why the ongoing learning, becoming a lifelong learner, is critical. This is from the beginning. We are lifelong learners. Let's show it when we are with clients. How do we embody a coaching mindset? Well, ongoing reflective practice. We review sessions, supervision, mentoring. I have myself at least 4 people that are mentoring or coaching me. Or actually, I am their supervision with clinical psychologists as well because of my hypnotherapy practice. So don't get tired of sharing your cases with colleagues, with peers. I'm on us and sharing, well, you know, I have these clients, he's going through a lot of shame. She wants to break the glass ceiling in her company, but she cannot do it because she cannot get out of guilt. What do you recommend me to do? So the more we share, the more we go through this ongoing reflection, the better for everybody, for our clients and for ourselves, because the more we are going to be learning and the more we are going to be embodying this critical coaching mindset. Self-awareness, self-monitoring, and self-regulation. So, I mean, we cannot get tired of this. If we get triggered by our clients, we have to share it. We have to tell our client, oh my goodness, I'm feeling so triggered by what you're telling me. And we have to explore it. Why are we getting triggered? What's going on in me when they share about this issue? How do I really go deeper into self-regulation? How I do become a master of my own emotions? How do I prepare mentally, emotionally before sessions and after sessions? How do I release whatever went on the session? What are my self-care techniques? So I'm gonna be seeking support when personal issues may interfere. And of course, I'm gonna be honoring client autonomy and clients own their own goals, insights, and actions. So this is very important as well, especially when we are starting our practice. We are so empathetic that at some point we want to solve our clients' issues and we get into their own responsibility. And actually we learn quickly that the more they become accountable and own their own issues, the better for everybody. So I think that these 6 elements are pretty powerful. And actually would love to stop here and ask you, you have a specific technique that you can share in order to create self-awareness and self-regulation. What do you do to increase your self-awareness and your self-regulation? For example, I can start as you think about it. I go deep into self-hypnosis. For me, is the next step of meditation. So there, I go deep into a deep state of silence, and I get answers from silence. So it's not even expecting my thoughts to come in and out. No, I go into complete silence, and there I release, and I become more aware. So this is one of my practices. But I wonder, what do you use? If anybody wants to share, what do you do for self-awareness and self-regulation? You can write on the chat as well. But I think that here we all do something, right? So Kim is saying, I practice TM. I guess this is transcendental meditation, right? TM.
Yes,
Or what?
yes.
All right.
Also an emptying and a silence where the connection with the silence has an anchoring. Yeah.
So do you have your own mantra that you use, or you use different mantras?
I was given one. I still use it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, TM, for those of you who are curious, is one of those meditations that go deeper into the peace of silence. So that's core to TM. It's not like love and kindness or mindfulness that are more into states that you can go to deep meditative state, but it's not as deep as TM or hypnosis. Probably hypnosis is similar somehow to TM. Thank you for sharing that, Kim. Rosario, meditation and exercise. Adrienne, I like to look out at the nature around me and have some quiet moments. Of course, I mean nature. And especially for those who live in Miami, when I go there, I go deep into the ocean and I stay there for a few minutes, just relax, just going deep into the water. Or nature. I mean, being with 20 minutes in nature, 20 minutes in nature are already creating the chemicals that are regulating my oxytocin. So that's just 20 minutes. There is a research that actually just looking at green, looking at nature, it can have similar effects. Looking at, not just if you cannot be in nature. Katerina, contemplation, silent retreats without talk, a couple of days, journaling. Yes. Journaling is so important. It's becoming harder now, journaling with so much technology, but I encourage you to keep doing it as much as you can. Meditation, tree hugging, exercise, intentional reflection with internal conversation. Beautiful. Meredith, I journal daily and I have a gratitude practice. Nice. Claudia, journaling every day. Heather, journal, walking, breathing, yoga, sitting on my back patio, looking out at nature. Nice. I take care of my health. That was Heather. Claudia, I take care of my health, food with no sugar, breathing, meditation, tai chi, walk, and drink water. Nice. Eldridge, I exercise to clear my mind after coaching sessions most consistently. Nice. All right, so you see here we have a combination of exercise for the body and the mind, food, nutrition. We have contemplation. I enter into deep inner connection with self, form of TM, rise above myself, deep breathing and connecting to a higher energy and energize. I use mantras and sacred names for guidance. Nice, beautiful. One of the regressions that I do when I do hypnotherapy is life between lives. So I get into incarnations. So there is a station there when you go into the soul space that is called recharge. And that's amazing. You can do that and you can recharge as a soul, not just as a human. Thank you for sharing that, actually. Okay, so we see exercise, we see nutrition, we see journaling a lot. We see walking in nature, yoga, pranayama, breathing, critical. The whole breathing and using different breathing techniques, so critical. Tree hugging, contemplation. Actually, contemplation is one of my favorites as well. It's not meditation. I don't know if you know the difference, the big difference, but it's basically meditation. We let our thoughts come and go. So they come, we see them go. They come, we see them go. So at some point, there are no more thoughts. That's very difficult, but I let them go. I invite them to go. With contemplation, we stay with the thoughts. So in contemplation, we contemplate the thoughts. And we contemplate and we focus on them. And we can focus on them or we can focus on something else. The moment I contemplate them and I give them value, they change. And the moment they change, I perceive the change and I integrate the change. So this is powerful, very powerful. And actually the technique that I'm going to be showing you today is based on contemplation with the meta pets. All right, well, thank you so much for sharing. I see another one. Can you please elaborate on the triggers you mentioned before, Alexandra? Yes, these are good one. Okay, trigger. Imagine that you have a gun and you have that and you you pull the trigger and nothing happens. So it's like click, 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 nothing happens. But at some point you click and it's shot and the bullet goes off. It's cool. Pew. What is the difference between triggering with basically no bullet or with bullet? Is that actually, if there is a bullet, I'm going to be triggered and I'm going to be expressing. I'm going to be expressing. Or I'm going to be suppressing. So when we have emotions, we have three options. We can express them. And imagine I'm angry. So I shout because I'm angry. So when we are listening to a client that is very angry, I might get triggered and become angry or become sad or become anxious. So if they're angry or they are shouting or they are crying heavily and I get triggered, okay, the first question is what's going on? Why am I reacting to their emotions in this big way, in this way that actually I'm crying? So my client is crying, I start crying. So it might be empathy because I'm super empathetic, but it might be because something is going on in me. So this is why we say that all healing, including coaching techniques, is interpersonal healing. It's all about the relation. Oh, party, we have balloons. It's all about, that's why we say as well that 60% of the success of any coaching session is about being present. Just be present. Because there is an exchange of energy between the client and myself. So if my client is angry and I become angry, if my client is sad, I become sad. And I start mirroring all these behaviors, the question to me is, what's going on? So as coaches, we are going to try to suppress our emotion because we don't want to show our client that we are not professional. Okay. Some people might think, oh my goodness, I'm getting so triggered here, but I cannot show my emotions because what are they going to think of me? Well, that's what makes humans humans, having emotions. And that's what really makes a master coach, is actually sharing about your triggers, your own triggers, and being vulnerable. Because by you being vulnerable, you are helping your client to even be more vulnerable. So that could be a really powerful way to go deeper into what's going on. So basically, my client is feeling something, I get triggered, I don't have a bullet in me, so nothing happens. But if I have a bullet in me, that could be the expression. So I can decide to suppress, I can decide to express. There's a third way, and this is the powerful way, and this is the way that we have to master and we have to train, is the transmutation. So I neither suppress nor express, I transmute. So I listen carefully to this emotion and I inquire, what are you telling me? The same way that I'm going to be asking the client to ask the emotion, what is this emotion telling you? Because all emotions exist to give us information. All emotions are good. All emotions are welcome. All emotions are amazing. All emotions, and I use parts dynamics or IFS, internal family systems, are part of my coaching toolkit. They are parts. And if they are parts of us, what is this part telling me? I'm going to be listening to it. So that's the thing that we do with ourselves. If I get triggered, I bring my emotion out and I talk to it and I listen to it. And I transmute the energy of that emotion and I reframe it. After I listen to it, I acknowledge and I say thank you. Because every emotion is telling us something very, very important. So this is what I mean by triggers. Some triggers can create a really, I would say, awkward situation because we might feel so bad in the middle of the session that we might stop it. And we might say, oh my goodness, this is triggering me so much. I'm with you. I'm here with you. I cannot really hold space because I cannot even talk. And I've seen this with many of my students. I mean, when we go into demos, they get shocked. It's like, stop. They cannot even talk any longer because they are so triggered, because they are so feeling so hard what the client is feeling that they cannot talk any longer. So I think that this is important that we talk about it because we have to do something. My recommendation is that we truly share this with the client immediately. And then after the session, we go through our own coaching or our own therapy, because that's the way we can heal the healer. So we all want to be healers. The only way we can be healers is by cleaning and clearing all our blockages. In order to do that, self-awareness and self-regulation are critical. So not express, not oppress, transmute. That's the way I would love to recommend dealing with triggers. I don't know, Alexandra, if that's enough, or you want more on this, or you have another opinion. If anybody else wants to share, please do it.
This was very helpful. Thank you so much.
Alexandra, okay. Thank you.
I think Suli has her hand.
Yes, Suli? Yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to share that as an energy coach, the word emotion is energy in motion. And whatever energy that you put out, you're right, you can suppress it. It might be on your subconscious or might be down the line. It may get triggered, or you can express. And the very important thing is to transmute, because energy, it's physics, it's the science. It doesn't stop. It's what's created. So for me, on the level of there are certain clients that you do really need to prepare ahead of time, especially if you know they are highly emotionally charged, so that you can protect yourself and your thought, that where you can feel what they are feeling and yet not be triggered to the point where you have not protected yourself with that layer of protection, where it cannot, their energy cannot come into your energy field. So yes, there's ways of, right, of working with that. It doesn't mean you don't cry with them. It doesn't mean you don't show empathy, but it's their reality and not yours. It's hard sometimes to create that protection, but it works for me a lot of times. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much, Suli. Yes, I feel you. Energy in emotions, energy emotions. Remember that. That's so helpful. Katrina?
Yes, thank you, Luis. I do really appreciate this about embody all the coaching mindset. And it is, even though it is a really high important study, I made a study that says that one variable that helps clients to heal is the presence of the coach. So even though not the languages, just being there and embody all these kind of things, people can absorb that with energy, with emotions, with all that brings the deep. And also as coaches, understand that we charge this energy and we need, as you mentioned, we need to transmit all these kind of things and find ways to do that. So we are not just working with people, we are working with the energies and we are absorbing that. And we need to release to come again with the energy for our next client, for us and for the next client, to support and give the room so that we can really build this new space for them that is built with all, all the anchors. And so having an anchor, in my case, for whatever new client coming is important. And also I would say, working with different cultures and different, I would say, executives and teenagers and women. So I believe that when you have that, then you have a lot to offer to them. So that is, thank you. I really think it is very important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Katerina, for that. I see, Kim, that you're asking if there are differences between modalities of coaching by phone, video, or in person. Well, it's a basic question, but it's not basic. It's really difficult question because, of course, that is very different, coaching. But my recommendation is that we embody the coaching mindset anyway. So it might be in a different way, but we have to do it. So it's not like because I'm on the phone, now I'm going to be less coach. I'm going to be more directive. No, the coaching mindset is something that works regardless of being in person or being on the phone or being on video. Then what is true, and you might be surprised, but for me, for specific issues, being online is even better. I mean, in person is powerful, is very powerful. But for some people, And especially me being a man and maybe working with women who are abused. And I get a lot of that because of my hypnotherapy practice. Actually, it creates a lot of safety when you're online. So I'm feeling it. I see it. Or even if you are in person, sometimes you have to have something in between. Maybe there is a table, maybe there is something that showcase that there is protection. So many, and because I mean, look who is here in the room, right? Is almost 100% women. So there are not that many men. I mean, I don't know why in this conference is only women. It's just me. But normally it's no more than 30% men. So I think for people like me, I have to be very aware of all these gender issues as well, because that can really make a difference in your Ibrahim. Yes, you're here as well. Sorry, I didn't see your face. So for example, my last session in India, because I knew of cultural sensitivities about gender, I brought with me my Indian assistant woman. And she was there sitting observing. So because that knew that was going to make my client safer. So yes, be aware that everything changes. Phone, in person, or online. You have to explore. There is no right or wrong here. The only recommendation is that use the coaching mindset all the time, regardless. But then you might be using extra kindness, extra caution, extra silence when you are in person. For example, it's easier to be in silence because you are looking at the other person. So without saying anything, you are present. But on the phone, long silence can be confusing. Or online, if the person is lying, for example. So this is something that you learn with practice, a lot of practice. There is no right or wrong, but coaching mindset is anywhere, all the time. Claudia, you want to say something?
I just wanted to add in with regards to the phone coaching, that was one of my first practices. When I started coaching, I only had phone coaching sessions, and it really helps you to be truly present, and embodying that coaching mindset is all you have. You really have to be present, listening to their voice, to their breathing. And for me, it was a really good experience. Very good experience. But like you said, silence is awkward, but in time, clients they already know that you're holding that space. So it's, if you're wondering, I recommend you have one of those experiences, because it's really good.
Absolutely. Okay, wow, we are almost there. We only have 15 minutes left. Time is flying. So let me give you a few more tips here. Okay, why? The why. I think that, we already know why. Intuitively, we already have tools, but here you have a few more. I will share with you the slides if you want them. But why is this key for leadership? It shifts from having answers to empowering others to grow. Unlocks potential, amplifying strengths and ownership. Is helping us to build trust and psychological safety through listening and inquire. Listening, inquire. That's it. That's all we have to do as coaches. Being present, listening, inquire. increase engagement, creativity, and accountability. It fosters a culture of learning and continuous improvement. In summary, leaders who coach multiply impact across teams and systems. So this is what we are recommending to all leaders to become coaches, at least coaches in the mindset. And as coaches, we know that this is huge and powerful in everything that we do. So now let me super briefly talk to you about the model that I use. It's called a Rouser model. And basically it's a framework to develop leaders as conscious catalysts of well-being. What it means is that I am conscious that I am a catalyst. And I become aware of my own capabilities. Aligns directly with the coaching mindset principles, integrates relationships, openness, empathy, understanding, self-awareness, empowerment, and reflection. So I'm actually gonna leave you on the chat the assessment that I created with 24 questions. If you are interested on knowing the questions, because we are coaches, as coaches, we are all about questions, right? So there you have 24 super powerful questions that are aligned with my model of Rouser, and this is the model that we teach at the World Happiness Academy. Super practical, and this works for leaders, this works for coaches, and this works for coaches. So the first element is relations. And this is about building trust, rapport, and genuine care. Co-creating clear agreements and expectations, prioritizing connection, no trust, no coaching. So this is the way I'm gonna be starting by building a trustworthy relationship with my client. And if we believe that all coaching is about interpersonal coaching, this is the beginning. We start with relationships. And this is the beginning of the model, the Rouser model that I use. The second one is openness, being transparent and honest in dialogue, inviting for feedback and diverse perspectives, modeling curiosity and non-judgment. So I open my heart with transparency and honesty. I invite for feedback and perspectives. The third one is understanding. So I build relationships, build on trust. I open my heart and I keep building that relationship. Then I understand. How do I understand? By deep empathy for context, needs, and motivations. I active listening and powerful questions. I seek to understand before seeking to be understood. So this is the whole process of what's going on here. And here we can listen and we can hear our intuition, that energy that Sul is talking about. What is this? What is this information coming? Am I understanding with no judgment? The S of Rouser is self-awareness. So this is about knowing your emotions, your triggers, your values, your biases. This is about practice, self-observation, and regulation. And this is very important. We coach ourselves first. Sometimes we go through all these coaching programs and we forget to coach ourselves. So actually the first level of our coaching program is self-coaching. It's like, I mean, you cannot become a coach if you don't coach yourself. Or you cannot become a coach if you don't have a coach. I mean, who is your coach? That's the first question I ask all our students. Who's your coach? Oh, no, it's you, Luis. Okay, well, maybe you need another one because we all need more than one coach. So coaches with no coach, question mark. Self-awareness, and then empowerment. This is what we want. We don't want coaches for life. We want coaches for the right timing. We enable ownership, autonomy, and decision-making. We coach rather than direct, develop people's capabilities, and we trust first, support with clarity and resources. So this is what I call the Rouser model, and there are 24 questions to make sure that we are maximizing the power of coaching. So this is the model, and I send you the link to the 24 questions. So you feel free to copy, paste, use them. And if you want to answer them, and then you want to reach out to me, I can go through maybe 30 minutes assessment with you for free, just in case you want. Otherwise, you have the 24 questions. And then the last thing that I wanted, sorry, the last one is reflection. So Rouser, ER, reflection. And this is the moment where we are going to be creating time to debriefing and extract learning. We are going to be normalizing experiments, feedback, and iteration, and we are going to continuously improve for self-team and system. So this is the ongoing reflection about me, about my process, about my team, about my coaching, continues. So all these 6 levers really help me to create a difference. And then the tool that I wanted to show you is this incredible method that I created based on magic animals. And probably you know, but the subconscious mind basically talks with symbols and with metaphors and with stories. That's the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is not a rational mind. It is symbolic, metaphorical, and it listens to stories. So this is how this tool works. There are 64 animals. Each of the animals is the combination of 3. And they are bringing us into a higher state of contemplation. Because what we do with them is to integrate one low vibration. So this is something I use with my clients at the beginning of Inquire. I give them to choose a card. And then we explore one element of the card, which is the shadow. It's a low vibration. There are 64 shadows. And then we explore this zone or suppressed part that limits effectiveness. So because there are 64, we can right away go into, for example, there's one card that is conflict, is a shadow. And the essence, the natural state, is peace. So how do I move from conflict into peace? So when you get a card and actually says conflict, and you ask, what does conflict mean to me for you today? You can start getting into a dialogue, really deep dialogue, very fast by going into the shadow of the zone or suppressed part of me that is active today. And the card is showing you that shadow. The card is showing you an essence, which is the truest self that shines. The shadow is integrated. And then it's showing you the bridge between this shadow and this essence. So actually, I love this system because it gives me a lot of opportunity to create a common language with the client. So there are 64 shadows, 64 essence, and 64 gifts. So this is giving us 192 words that we can integrate together with animals and together with the storytelling. So we don't have a lot of time to go through the system today, but I welcome you to explore it. I'm gonna share I can share the link on the chat, but I'm here anytime you want. There is a book called The Method, and there is another book with the cards. But I just wanted to show you how this becomes so relevant for coaching. As coaches, once we decide to cultivate an open mindset, then we are going to need tools to help us to keep expanding this coaching mindset and then to help our clients to unlock their own shadows, their own issues, their own awareness. So using this type of tools becomes very, very important. Okay, so this is it. I want to finish here, just basically with some recommendations about daily practices that you can have. Lifelong learning, reflective practice after key conversations, mindfulness centering before sessions and meetings, everyday coaching, listen first, ask open questions, seek feedback, engage mentor coaching supervision, continue inner work through journal therapy, meta pets, whatever tool you want, stay relentlessly client centered. So I wonder if anybody wants to share if you pick any of these, and then we close with some Q&A. So thank you so much. It was beautiful being here. And let's open for a few minutes, a couple of minutes of maybe Q&A, or just reflecting on these daily practices. Yes, Alexandra, we can see a live demonstration, but not today because we don't have time. But I would love to organize, if anybody's interested, a live demo with you or anybody who wants.
That would be awesome to see it, how you use it with a client or with another coach who decides to be the coachee, so to say. That would be awesome.
Yeah, actually,
If there's any chance.
Yeah, definitely. So Claudia, Katia, as a follow-up, maybe we can organize something around this. I'm super open to do.
That would be wonderful.
Yes, I would love to be part of it too. I love this. Thank you.
I love it. Fantastic. I mean, I'm here whenever you want. How do we contact this?
How do we contact you?
I'm gonna share my slides, but here I give you my email. Well, happy. I put it on the chat, El Gallardo, and my WhatsApp, +1 347 606 5317. Amazing. Yes, thank you. I really enjoyed the presentation. You have to hear another meeting. Okay, perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Here we are. 90 minutes after.
Just one quick ask for you guys. If you can you see my screen? We're sharing the QR code for you to give us feedback on this amazing presentation from Luis. If you can scan the QR code. If not, I dropped the link in the chat so you can give us feedback, and stay tuned for the noon presentation. Meredith is here with us in the room. She will be sharing wonderful presentation at noon, so stay tuned. Thank you
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Louise. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you all later.
Adios.
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 Ciao.
Ciao, Luis.